G'day, Mr. Mosca here with another wonderful video. Now this is for the students who are in isolation in week 8. So if you are in isolation in week 8, basically what we're doing is we're going to be setting up to do a role play or a scratch task where you introduce yourself, talk about your interests, and so on. What I need you to do is hop onto Sector for today. Now note, the date today is the 21st of March 2022, so try to go onto that section if you are watching this later. I would like you to first up open the CHATTIAMO worksheet on Sector. Once you've opened it, after downloading it, you'll notice it brings you to this really outdated mobile phone. I think it's an iPhone 3 or iPhone 2. It's just showing my age here now. I'm showing how old I am. We'll explain what this is about very soon, but before anything, you need to make sure you hit File on the top left-hand side of the screen, go Save As, or if it might show up as Save as Copy for you, hit Browse, and then I would like you to scroll all the way up on the left to Desktop. Now, I would like you to name the file something that you remember it as. Now, Chattiamo means let's talk or let's chat. You don't have to name it Chattiamo. Some of my students in other classes have called it like old phone Italian worksheet, or you could call it conversation task Italian. It's totally up to you. So as long as it's something that you can remember, hit the save button once you've done that. And if your computer is a little quicker than mine, it'll probably already do that. Now, inside this phone are all the questions that you are required to ask for your conversation task. And in the yellow speech bubbles are your answers. Now, you can pause this video and rewatch these sections as you need them. But I'm going to put in my answers, and you can change the answers as you need them. So the first one is Ciao, come ti chiami? Ciao is a friendly greeting, and come ti chiami means what are you called, quite literally. Or when we're translating it into English, it's what's your name. If you've been in Mr. Mosca's Year 7 class, I hope you know how to say it, but you would be saying what your name is. So, mi chiamo, and my name is Andrea, so I'm going to put Andrea. Next, quanti anni hai, which literally means how old are you? Or, sorry, it literally means how many years do you have? And Italians, they respond with, I have such and such years. Now, the way to say I have in Italian is ho. Make sure that you are not pronouncing the H. You're not saying ho or ho. You're saying o. Between ho and the word for years, anni, you need to write the number of how old you are in Italian there. Now remember, you have to write the number. You can't just type the symbol for the number, like 12. You actually need to write the number. So Mr. Mosca is very, very old. I'm 28. So I'm going to write the word for 28 in Italian, 28. You can change that how you like it. Remember, I've given you a cheat sheet in your book of how to answer these questions, some of them. So it's really important you consult that in your book. And if you need the numbers, look at the front cover of your Italian book. If you haven't got your Italian book with you, you are totally okay to use Google Translate so long as you don't abuse it. By that, I mean you try first to remember what to say and then look at Google Translate. Quando è il tuo compleanno is when is your birthday. We have answered this as well. It's in that worksheet in the exercise book. So you would start with the my, which is how Italians talk. Remember I said they kind of talk like Starfire from Teen Titans. The my birthday. So il mio compleanno. And then you want but it has to be the with the apostrophe. So there are two ways of doing this. Either you hit E and then apostrophe on your keyboard and it makes it look like that, which I honestly don't mind. Or if you're really a perfectionist, you can copy the from inside the worksheet and you can paste it over on this side. Now, to make it the same size, hit this arrow and then hit this clipboard over here. So that is the my birthday is. And here's how I would type mine. Il mio compleanno è, and I would say il 10, which is 10th, just 10th, and then the month. Il 10 febbraio, that's mine. You need to put the number and the month of your birthday. The year isn't important. Make sure that you enter that in. Next, Di dove sei? Di means of, dove means where, sei means are you. So the question is quite literally asking you, of where are you? And it's kind of almost like how old English people talk, like those knights and those medieval kind of shows. It's like, I am of the Shire, I am of Hobbiton. So the way we kind of have to answer is very similar. So we have to say, I am of, which is sono di. Sono di only works for cities, which means I am of or I am from, if we're not speaking literally. Mr. Moscow is actually from the city of Adelaide. If you're from a different city, you can type that. They are always the same in Italian. You don't have to translate the name. Sono di Adelaide. Now for the country part, you don't use sono di. You use vengo da, which is I come from. And that is for your country. So I come from Australia. Make sure you put your birth country. So far, we're pretty much halfway there, okay? You should be following along fine. If you need to pause or rewind, make sure you do that. Next, we've got dove abiti. Now, dove is where, and abiti is like habit. Like, where do you inhabit? Quite literally means where do you live? Think of like the word habitat. It's almost like a cognate, but not quite, but it always helps you to remember what abiti means. If a word ends in I in Italian, it's normally someone asking you. If it ends in O, it's normally you talking about yourself. So if abiti means you live, abito means I live. So we got to start this one with abito. Abito a. And we have already said our city. We've already said our country. So here you need to put in your suburb. Mine is West Croydon. Now, if you don't know what a suburb is, it's normally the last word or two words at the end of your address. Like you'd have your number for your house and the street name. The suburb is at the end. So example, Semaphore, Fullerton, Fulham, Seaton, that kind of thing. Here, we're going to do this one next. Come vieni a scuola. Okay, so what we need to do here. So for the next part, it's asked you, come vieni a scuola. Now, I've just paused the video to get this sentence builder up. This is my own sentence builder. It means, how do you come to school? Now, I would just like you to pick one from each section, which explains how you get to school. For me, if I were talking about myself, I would say vengo a scuola. So I come to school. And for me, I come to school in a car. Now, you're a year 7, you probably don't drive, but maybe your mum, dad, sister, brother, whoever, uncle, drives you to school. So for me, it'd be vengo a scuola in macchina. Make sure the in is involved. But there are other ways to say it if you want to include yours. So I'm going to quickly type that in. You can follow along with me. Vengo a scuola in macchina. And it's funny, the word macchina comes from the word machine, which would have been the idea, the name of a car before it got called a car. Now, this one is if we did sports day in term 1, so, but we haven't. It's asking you about that. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. Now, we're going to go on to this question here. It's asking you, ti piace italiano, musica, and then you can see a ... This is asking you for what subjects you prefer. Okay, so for me, I'm going to say my favorite subjects are the ones I teach. So mi piace italiano, arte, what's the other subject I teach? Arte drammatica. You don't have to include those. However, you are more than welcome to. You can pick other subjects. Now I'd like you to say the subjects you don't like. So you can say non mi piace matematica e geografia. Make sure you change yours depending. You probably have different opinions. Now with your subject selection, you can also include a reason. So for me, I said mi piace arte, which I do. I like art, and I'm going to say perché, which means because, and I'm going to pick a reason that I like it. Now for me, I enjoy art because it is fun, è divertente. Make sure you include that accent above the E. It's very important. Okay, so mi piace italiano, arte e arte drammatica. Then I can include just another sentence there. So mi piace arte, I like art, perché. Then I'm going to grab that copy-pasted E that I had saved before and make sure I get rid of the different font. Perché I said facile, it's easy. Yep. So I'd like you to mention one subject you like and why. And then under here, explain why you don't like another subject. So I'm going to say non mi piace, I do not like matematica, perché Going to grab that copy pasted E again. Perché è, it is. And for me, I'm going to say it is difficile. Awesome. Now for the final part, it's asking me che tipo sei, which is like, what type are you? What do you like? We haven't studied this in class yet, so I'm going to include the sentence builder so you can look at it. But the idea is it's already given you sono, which means I am. And you're going to use 3 adjectives, which are describing words, to describe yourself. Okay, and you can extend yourself by adding in more detail. If you want to say very, often, always, a little bit, you're more than welcome to. The sentence builder is coming up now. Now this sentence builder looks really daunting. It's actually very, very simple. You pick io sono for I am, then you pick one adverb to say how much you are of that thing. So for me, I want to say I'm very friendly, which I think most of my students would agree with. I hope so. You would say io sono, and then I'm looking for very or really. Here we go. So I can use molto or I can use proprio. So io sono, I'm going to go for proprio. And then I'm looking for friendly, which is amichevole. So I would write that in my CHATTIAMO. So I'm going to quickly get that open. That's my first sentence done. Sono, then I go for proprio, amichevole. That's my first sentence out of 3 done. So you need to write 3. Next, I'm just going to quickly point out, we've already covered this, but just in case you've forgotten, the parts in blue are to describe boys. So if it ends in an O, it's normally masculine, a masculine adjective used to describe boys. If it ends in an A, it's still the same adjective, except it's used when describing girls. So depending on which class is watching this, make sure you're picking the correct one for you. Here, up here, these are ones that end in E that can be used for either or. If it ends in E, it's essentially unisex. So I'm going to write some more. So io sono, I am. I'm going to say I am really tall. I'm truly tall. So I'm going to go for veramente. Io sono veramente alto. So I'm going to quickly write that in my CHATTIAMO. Io sono veramente alto. And I'm almost done. I am almost done. Finally, I'll say io sono sempre, I am always calmo. Io sono sempre calmo. I am always calm. Okay. Now, if I wanted to extend this, I can put different words in Italian in here, like conjunctions. So I could say I'm always calm, and I could add on another one. So I could say I'm always calm and nice. This will get you extra marks. So make sure you're using it. I am always calm and kind, simpatico. If I needed to, I could even include ma, which means but. Okay, if I wanted to include that. So instead of saying that, I could give an opposite. So I am always calm, and here I could say ma, but, and pick something that's the opposite. Ma sono, I am. So yeah, I could say io sono sempre calmo, and then say something like ma, and then say non sono, I am not. Ma non sono onesto, or non sono allegro. Totally up to you. But it's, yeah, again, it's an option. Sometimes pick the opposite when you use ma. So ma sono energetico. So I'm always calm, but I'm very energetic. So it's kind of showing an opposite there. I'm about to run out of time on my free trial, but I hope that helped with your CHATTIAMO at home. Try your best, and I look forward to seeing what you make. Thank you.